stream here for you guys today. Give the camera quality. My phone is not working today. I fried it, so I'm gonna have to use this temporary phone. But hey guys, I want to make like a short live stream today. So like the 6th time in a row, I'm quitting chess. And I was like playing like a lot of bullet games and stuff, right? I played like, I don't know, I must have played around like 300 bullet games. You know, it'd be like, oh, that sounds like a dramatic waste of time. And it is a waste of time, but it will relate to this video about what I call mastery, right? So I think probably for give or take about a year, I pretty much have been trying to see how good I could get at chess. I think my peak rating was probably like 1900. And then for whatever reason, I was struggling to get any better. You might say, well, Drew, you don't want to play chess anymore because you're not getting any better. That is a valid answer. But that's not really the point of this live stream. It's just more like, what's the word? Honestly, I was just kind of tired of playing chess. I don't know, just kind of sick of it consuming my life, I guess. I don't know what it is, but that's not the point, right? So the point was during this process, I hired a coach. I had a FIDE master who's like rated 2,400 coaching me. I was training, I was doing all this stuff, and for a bit, I was making some pretty solid progress, right? I was getting better. I was like improving. And then obviously you're going to want to keep doing things if you're getting better. You're gonna find that you're less motivated to do things when you're not getting any better, right? So that's obviously true in any respect. But, right, you know, I quickly realized how difficult it is to get better at something. Like, I mean, like actually genuinely be good at something. It's like ridiculously hard. Like, I've never actually like try to put a full faith effort in trying to like get better in terms of the mastery process. I think it's something I've always wanted to do, but it's just like, it's insanely hard, right? It's just ridiculously hard. And, you know, and so the thing is now, jack of all trades, master of none. No, guys. I mean, guys, I'm so good at chess that the majority of you guys would not be able to beat me at chess. Okay, I'm like, compared to the average person in chess, I'm at least in the respect of like skill level, weak wolf. That's funny. So no, that's not what this is about, right? What this is about is I'm trying to say that the real value in getting better at something, I'm just trying to follow what the point of that comment is. More power to you. So, okay, guys, before you make a comment, let me finish my video. Then you can ask questions or make comments. Okay. So what I'm trying to say right now, right, is that, you know, like technically speaking, I'm like 1,700 FIDE, right? If I wanted to become like a title player, I would have to gain like another 700 more rating points. Okay, guys, the amount of time it would have taken me to get even better is like 8 hours a day of nonstop chess, 8 to 10 hours a day. That's how much training it would require to become a master or become elite level. Okay, so now in terms of optimizing forward and you know, trying to live that ideal life, in terms of the ideal life, right, what that means is in the cosmic scope of things, right, I think for most of you guys, that's probably what you're lacking. You because I sense this from many people, you lack this direction. You know, guys, yeah, like if I was getting paid $80,000 would I keep playing chess? Absolutely. But I'm not getting paid $80,000 to waste 8 hours of my life on chess, so I'm not going to waste any further time with this. But but it was worth it in the sense that I did learn a fantastic amount about how hard it is to genuinely try to master something. It is insanely hard, guys. Like even today, guys, today was like my last day of playing chess. I was playing nonstop chess, game after game after game, and like I've trained, I've done all these patterns, I know what my opponent's doing, but I simply just couldn't do it. Okay, it was just so hard. It was like every opponent I'm playing, they're doing. Now I want you to think of like mastery like this. Okay, imagine you're playing a guy, or you're competing against some of the best in the world, right? And they're doing everything in their power to beat you. Okay, and you're giving 100% of everything, and they're still managing to beat you. Okay, and you're still losing, right? So the difference in the skill set. Okay, so this is an interesting question or comment. I knew someone who played chess and swore they could be a grandmaster, turned out they were extreme and wanted validation over chess. Well, I think everybody wants validation over something, right? So I think there's nothing intrinsically wrong with validation, and there's nothing wrong with pursuing something if you believe it is intrinsically valuable. But for a lot of people, I don't think a lot of you guys have ever tried getting ridiculously good at something. Okay, it's a lot different. The mind state is significantly different than trying to learn something. For example, let's say I'm learning keyboard, right? I'm learning keyboard, but I don't pretend to say I'm going to master keyboard. Okay, the difference between learning keyboard versus mastering keyboard is insanely hard. Okay, mastering keyboard is like 7 hours a day, 5 days a week of nonstop training. Whereas learning keyboard is like 30 minutes with a teacher who 30 minutes a day with the coach or something, and then you learn it and you can play a couple songs, but nobody really cares about your skill set. Does that make sense? And the reason why the best in the world get paid to get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars is because it's really that hard to be the best in the world. Okay, and I definitely do now realize I have a more profound respect for the people who are truly the best, guys. It literally takes everything to be the best. Okay, I'm being dead serious. It takes your entire soul and spirit to be the best. Okay, now so a comment says the most difficult part is when your learning curve plateaus. Yeah, that's actually one of the most frustrating parts about trying to get better is you go through like these plateau periods. Like I'll give you a great example. I was like stuck in the 1600s. To me, it's more of an event than a talent or a gift. It feels sort of like a release, possibly. But yeah, so like I'm like in these plateau periods, and the interesting thing was I'm getting better. I'm learning more, but I'm not like learning more doesn't mean you get better, right? I'm not actually getting any better. Well, yeah, one of the best is all that's neat. Yeah, but the thing is like even being one of the best, I wouldn't underestimate how challenging it is to be one of the best. It is. So guys, one of my goals was to be like international master, right? It was probably a delusional goal, honestly. But do I believe I couldn't do it? I think I probably could become an international master, but I would have to give up everything else, right? And the thing is, an IM is like maybe like 4,000th best player in the entire world, right? That's not even close to becoming the world champion, right? And no amount of training would allow me to become the world champion, right? And that's just the way it is because these other players have all this other skill and talent that I can't make up for. So now I want to go back to this main point because I'm going on a tangent here. And the main point I want to get at for this live stream to wrap up here, in terms of living the best life, or if you will, to actualize yourself, right? Actualization occurs in the sense of learning more things, gaining a wide range of experiences, being well-versed and well-read, which I think a lot of people who do self-improvement, well, yeah, but you have to remember that 5-year-old from China is like he has like an insane memory. Okay, they like that 5-year-old who beat you is literally like he has an amazing memory. You know, I went to a chess club and I played one of those 5-year-olds. Their chess is incredible, absolutely incredible. You know, Like I probably studied like the Roy Lopez, the Italian game, the French defense, the Carl Khan, and he knew 7 moves of opening theory, 10 moves of opening theory, and I lost in like 20 moves, no matter what I did, right? So I wouldn't be upset that other people are more talented, but it's useful to understand why certain people are the way that they are, right? Because like when we perceive mastery and success, we underestimate or we don't respect what it took for them to get there, okay? So I'm gonna wrap up this live stream with simply that as you guys are self-improving, a lot of you guys are probably reading books, you guys are fitness, you guys are doing all this stuff, and that will make you pretty good in comparison to the individual that doesn't try to improve themselves. But the definite downside here is the simple fact that if you don't ever try to pursue mastery, then I think to some degree you kind of limit yourself in terms of self-improvement, okay? And what I mean by this is I mean by like high-level self-improvement, okay? There's low-level self-improvement where you kind of superficially learn new things and new ideas, but you are missing a lot of personal development if you're not trying to compete against the best, okay? So that is my thought for you guys. Figure out something that you think you could be semi-good at, see how good you can get, and try to compete. See how many victories you can get, and you're going to find that you're going to learn a lot, okay? Really, the main value of this is learning how to learn, okay? And what do I mean by learning how to learn? Well, what it means is that, like, at some point, right, when you hit that first plateau, you literally have to learn how to learn. You have to learn and modify your own brain architecture to implement those changes in the environment, okay? Like, I remember I'm playing, like, the French defense versus like the advanced variation against white, right? So I have to learn like 7-8 moves of theory, and then I learn the theory, and then even that's not enough. Then I have to analyze the game. Then once I analyze it, then I get the coach, and then we review the games, and then it's still not good enough. And then even after all that, right, I played 1,000 games of the French defense, and it's still not good enough because I'm not implementing my understanding. And that's your hard truth of becoming the best at something or becoming great, is that you're not entitled to getting better. You're not entitled to becoming very good, okay? I think that's probably one of the hardest things I had to learn when I was trying to get better, is that even though you put in a lot of effort, you might simply not improve very much, okay? So yeah, that's what I would encourage you guys to do. Pursue that self-improvement. Pursue an activity, a vocation, or something that you can compete against others with, and see how far you can get. Learn how to learn. Get a coach. Coaching is immensely valuable. Stick to the plan and see where it takes you. Okay, you will learn a lot. I promise you. You get really good at a skill set, you're going to understand new things about yourself, and you're going to have a higher level thought process, because now once you've gotten really good at one task, you can try to get good at the other task. And that's let me see. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it, and that's I think that's basically it, and that's what I would encourage you guys to do. Like, the process of success is more or less the same. I once told this to somebody. They asked me, like, oh, what's the difference between successful people? And I told that person, I was like, well, from my personal experience, most successful people are basically the same, in the sense that they typically are very disciplined. They're typically very rigid. They're very consistent. They're very persevering and very persistent. Now, the next step beyond that, the person that is not only successful, but they're a master of success, they've gone a step beyond what I just described. Not only are they consistent, persevering, and very good at what they do, but they've also transcended their learning limits, and they can implement a process that allows them to get to the highest level of capability. That is beyond normal self-improvement. Okay, it's far beyond it. That single difference, if you don't understand this difference, that is literally the difference in hundreds of millions of dollars of value creation you could create. Okay, and that's basically, I think, what I probably learned in that chess pursuit. Okay, so yeah, guys, pretty much it. I'm gonna answer like a couple questions. I'm gonna wrap up here. So one of the questions question says, does it have to be competitive if it's more creative? Okay, that's an interesting question, right? So, it's a very hard question to answer, and I've thought about that as well, right? So the nice thing about competitive vocations is that the self-perpetuating motivation to get better is a lot easier because you're competing against others, which is it's a very aggressive activity. There's a level of aggression to improve, right? Like aggression is motivation, right? If you can channel it in a motivational capacity, then I think it's probably better that you learn mastery from a competitive pursuit rather than a creative pursuit. Because the problem I've tended to find with the creative pursuit, for example, let's say you write poetry every day and you're like, I want to become one of the best poetry writers, right? Well, in principle, the process is roughly the same. You write poetry every day. You read about many different poets like Robert Frost, for example, Edgar Allan Poe, and then you try to implement these ideas into your writing, but it's not so obvious what your metric of improvement is, right? Like, what does it mean to be one of the best poetry writers? Is that a thing? Is it in terms of volume, or is it in terms of like awards? And then the other problem is that like it's not. I think it's just more difficult with a lot of creative pursuits. Okay, if you have a so if you have like a lot of creative pursuits, then you pursue those creative pursuits. I have tended to find I run out of motivation to do something. I very rarely have I ever tried to become the best in a creative pursuit. I'm just like I don't have the motivation to do it. And that's what I'm trying to say. There are some people that can stay motivated working on these creative pursuits. Okay. It says not necessarily cramping style, but having an aesthetic. What do you mean by that? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. You gotta when it comes to execution. Okay. What do you mean when it comes to execution? What do you mean by that? I would say if it's like art, the problem I would say with creative pursuits is that it's very subjective. I think there's definitely mastery in creative pursuits. It's just that the metric is different, if that makes sense. In chess, it's very straightforward. Okay, yeah, okay, so the difference there, right, is if you are trying to be a creative individual who's trying to get better at something, right? Let's say you're drawing, or let's say you're making music, right? Then your main comparison of improvement is probably going to be your contemporaries. Who are the contemporaries in the field? For example, I draw. There's Picasso. There's fucking I don't know, John Pollock, right? These artists, Leonardo da Vinci, whatever, right? Then theoretically, that is your competition. Theoretically, that's your competition to improve. Technically, it's just that it's just not as obvious. Okay, so you can definitely improve in a creative pursuit. It's a different field. Okay, in chess, it's super freaking simple. You go against another person, there's one winner and there's one loser, and then your rating goes up so you know you improve. In art, there's no rating system. There's nothing that tells you if you got better or not. You don't know where you stand in the world, right? Like right now, I could tell you I stand at like 1700, right? And then I can quickly put myself in the level of capability of the ladder of self-improvement. Okay, now you might have like an art, a drawing that you're doing, and you're drawing, and I'm drawing something, right? And then the thing is, as I'm drawing something, you might see an improvement with your drawing. Okay, you might be like, oh, I can draw more three-dimensional figures, or I understand shading better, or I understand the perspective of a 3D layout better. But that doesn't mean that, like, I guess I wouldn't know if am I one of the best? That's the problem. I can't tell you at what point I became one of the best. So that's my problem with a lot of creative pursuits. If you became ridiculously good at guitar, right, how would you measure whether you're one of the best guitar players, right? I think I actually am going to probably start learning guitar pretty soon, because that's another thing I'm interested in. But I'm under no delusion that I will become one of the best at guitar. It's probably insanely hard. So I'm going to finish up with this, guys, because I got to get a run here. The main fundamental difference between improving at a creative pursuit relative to a competitive pursuit is that the metric of motivation is probably, I think, a bit more difficult to harness a sustained motivational capacity. Okay, because like if you're just playing guitar, right, as an example, it's going to be way harder to improve, because it's just like there's not as much instant feedback in the improvement. Okay, it's very awkward, right? You're learning the A key, the B key, the minor, the major chord. You're learning all this stuff, and you could become decent and play some songs. But then the question is, at what point did I become insanely good at it? I have no idea. I don't have the answer to that. But what I will say is, in your self-improvement journey, I highly suggest integrating some type of mastery, because that will raise your self-improvement to the next level, because you're going to learn how to learn. You're going to learn the value of a coach. You're going to learn how to implement high-level information. You're going to learn how to accept losing. One of the hardest things about getting better is accepting that you're going to lose. You're not always going to like win all the time. You're going to lose a lot before you learn a lot, right? Just like in chess, you're going to learn it. You're going to lose a ridiculous amount of games before you start winning games. You're going to fail before you lose, and that's the process you will be depriving yourself of if you become a jack of all trades. Okay, and I think I'm gonna finish. Okay, and so I want to touch very briefly on the jack of all trades part. So for lack of a better word, you could call me a jack of all trades, right? Now, the pros and cons of being a jack of all trades is that, you know a wide amount of stuff about a wide range of things, and you're highly adaptable. I do not recommend you be a jack of all trades. You need to be able to have a niche and to be able to get good at something, at least be able in the top 30% of capability. If you're not even in the top 30% of capability, then I think you're wasting your time. Okay, like, and the reality is, most people, it's actually not that hard to get in the top 30% of capability. It really isn't, guys. Like, it's not that hard to get in the top 30%. If I stuck with chess right now, guys, I could probably get to 2,000 rating in about a year or two. I literally could do it right now. Okay. And most people say it takes about 7 years to get 2,000 rating, which is expert level at chess. And I would have done it in 2 years at the age of 27, almost 28 years old. I'm really old. Okay. And I would have improved 400 points. Okay. Why is it that most people don't improve? Because most people don't even try to improve. That's what I'm trying to say. Try to find something to improve at. Try to learn the process, and then you will go very far. Okay, that is all I have for you guys for optimizing forward. I will stay around for maybe 30 seconds. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But I hope this was valuable to you guys. So once again, if you guys have any questions, anything, I'm open to answering it. You know, I'll probably maybe add one more thing as I wait for any questions you guys want to ask me. Maybe I'm gonna try to make like videos maybe like once a week. Maybe I'm not sure yet. I used to make videos every day, but I don't really. We'll see if I stay motivated or if I feel like making YouTube. But I should be back. I don't see any reason why I won't be back. The future videos I'll probably do are really just going to focus on reading, finance, budgeting, very mundane stuff, routines, coaching. I have a whole host of ideas I want to work on. So I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, guys, you guys have a great day and have a happy new year. All right, see you guys.